is for you.
For all the times that you rain on my parade, and all the clubs you get in.
Hello, my lovely photography class. So for this lesson, I want to teach you how to make an avatar of yourself, or you could just like a cartoon version of yourself. So I've been watching these YouTube videos on how to do it, because that's how I learn how to do everything, is using YouTube. And then I go and make YouTube videos of my own and pretend like I'm a genius who just like came up with the idea in the first place. So first thing you want to do, Photoshop, and get a picture of yourself. Yes, a picture of you. I know you hate taking photos of yourself or getting a friend to take a photo of you, but I want to see a picture of you. You. So go File, Open. And then I got my husband to take a few photos of me, and I'm going to get a good one. So I might pick something like this. They're all good because, you know, I look great in photos. I'm just going to zoom in. That's pretty good resolution. Says all right. And I don't need all this brick wall. So actually, no, you know what? It's a nice composition, so I might leave it like that. So I'm going to zoom in and just work on this section of it. So zoom out a little bit. All right. So what you need to do is come over here. So you've got your picture of you as the background, and then you're going to click this little button here that says Create New Layer and get a new layer on top. So we're actually going to draw the cartoon on the new layer, which is on top, and leave the original picture underneath as like a guide for our cartoon. So then you're going to come over here and grab this pen tool. Okay, I think that's the one. Pen tool. And maybe we'll zoom in and we'll start with the nose. So the way the pen tool works is you click once and then click again, and it draws a line between the two anchor points. So you're going to go click, click, and you can, if you move it a little bit, it'll actually curve the line around. So you can create a little bit of a curve. Now don't forget this is a cartoon version of you, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Takes a little bit of getting used to this one. So you can curve that, have a play with it. And there, so that's the beginning of my nose, all right? So I've drawn around the shape of my nose. Don't forget we're working on the new layer, okay? I'm actually gonna, let's rename this layer. So if I right click, I can, should be an image, I'll do it in a minute. Anyway, okay, so hang on. Oh, there we go. If you double click on layer, so I'm going to change that layer to avatar. Okay, so go back to that. And then, all right, so I've drawn a line around my nose, and then I'm going to right click anywhere on the page and go stroke path. And I want it to be a pencil line. And then if you go over to your pencil, where are you? And then press OK, and it should give me, now the only problem is it's actually given me a white line. So what I need to do is find my pencil tool, which is here, pencil tool, and change the color. So I want black. Did you follow that? So I clicked down that one, changed it to black, and then I can choose my thickness as well. So I'm just going to change that to a little round one. Now it's up to you. I'm going to have my thickness about that. So once you've done that, you go back to your pen tool, right click, go stroke path, pencil, and then OK. And it should do it whatever you've set up your pencil tool to be. Okay, so it looks quite thick there, but if you zoom out, it's actually quite a thin little line. All right, so now we're going to do it again. So you can actually, we click on that, we should be able to start with a new line. So I'm going to do this little crease in my cheek. And if you hold down Shift, oh no, hang on. No, don't do that. Just do one line at a time. Right click, go strokes, subpath, and then OK. And then start again. All right, so we don't want that to connect. So to get out of it, I'm going to click on my pen tool again. And hopefully, if you click on that'll get rid of it. I want to start a new path. Yeah, I think that should work if you click on your pen tool. So we're starting a new path now. I'm going to follow that around, and you can see you can curve that line a little bit. Oh, I don't want that one to curve. So if you've made a mistake and you want to go back, you can go to your history. I'll put my face over here, just on the left side. Go to your history, which is up here, remember? And then if you just click away, it'll take you backwards. No, I'm just going to go back. I've stuffed this up. There we go. Okay, cool. And then we'll right click, stroke subpath, and okay. Alrighty, I'm going to click on my pen tool again. Alright, so that gets rid of where we're at and then starts you with a new path. So then what else can I do? I'm going to do my glasses. So this is a fairly slow process, and it could take you, an hour or so to do, but it's totally worth it. All right, and then right click and stroke path, and okay, right. That is not what I wanted it to do. So I'm going to go over here and go close path, and then I'm going to go back to my anchor point. There we go. So I'm just using if I make a mistake, I just go to my history, go back, and then I'm going to go stroke subpath, and okay. So what I really want to do is unclick, I just want a new path altogether. So we'll try this again. All right, so we don't want that to happen. So again, go back. We need to join this up. But we need a whole new path. I think I need some help with this one. I'm going to go to my YouTube channel.
And these handles can go wherever.
Okay, so we've watched a bit of YouTube. I don't know how helpful that's been particularly, but what I have figured out is that there's a baby coming towards me. Come here. Oh, come and say hello. This is my son, Edward. He's going to learn how to use Photoshop with us. So what I have worked out is that every time you want to start a new path, don't touch anything. Just have your drink. Don't touch the computer, honey. Every time, don't touch the computer, please. Here. Thank you. Okay. All right. Oh gosh, what's happened? All right. What I've worked out is, as I presume he pressed the zoom out button, is every time you want to start a new path, if you press Control, so we've got our pen tool, if you hold down Control and then just click anywhere, it should start you with a new path. So then there we go. So now it's got my path again. I'm going to follow my little face crease. Right click, stroke subpath, and okay. Now I'm going to hold down Control, click somewhere, and see it got rid of the dots. So that's going to give me a new path. See, watching YouTube is a great tool. Right click, stroke subpath, okay. Hold down Control, click, and it goes away. All right, so for the next bit, I'm basically just going to be working on this for a really long time. This could take you a while. So if you want to speed the next bit up, you can.
My name. You think you broke my heart, oh girl, for goodness sake. You think I'm crying on my own, well I
Hello,
ain't.
back again. So I didn't want to bore you with all the little details, but I've basically gone through and put the lines in for everything that I want to include in my avatar. So what you should be able to do now is go back to your layers over here, and if you click on this little eye, it'll get rid of your background picture and it'll give you a bit of a summary of how things are going. Now you can certainly put more detail in, like for example, I left the camera out and I've sort of simplified my hair a bit because I was just running out of time. So now that you've got this bit, make sure everything has been filled in. So I'm just going to right click again and go stroke path and just make sure all of my lines have been stroked black, and that should work for you. Now you can start adding some color. Now what I want to do is I'm going to keep my background. I want to actually use the same colors from my image. So if I get my paint bucket tool here, go paint bucket, and then I'm going to click on my color palette, and you'll notice here if I hover over this image, it's got the little pipette tool. So if I click on my shirt, it's going to give me a bit of a pipette and give me that pinkish color that my t-shirt is. Now I actually want it to be a bit more pink because it's a bit pale. So I'm going to use that color. There's a baby coming again. Hello. So I've chosen that color, and then so I've got my paint bucket, and then I should be able to just paint in that area, and it hasn't worked. Now what's happened is, this is actually a really good example. The color has bled out of the t-shirt and through the image. Now what that shows me is this t-shirt shape is not fully enclosed and there's a crack in the area. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to get rid of my background image, and then if I zoom in, and this is where I can actually grab my pencil tool now, because I reckon I can see it there. You can see the area is just not enclosed basically, and I need to make sure I've got a black bit of pencil, and I'm actually just going to fill in this little gap there, and I'm going to go around and make sure that all my lines are enclosed, so that way when I do paint, now see I've got another one here, so I'm just filling that in. This time I'm actually using the pencil tool, not the pen tool, so there's a difference, okay? The pencil tool will actually draw a line. So I'm just going around, I can see that little armpit bit there is filled in. Keep going down. Looks pretty good. I reckon it was, I think that one's okay because that's just a crease mark. I'm going to close that one off as well. Close this mark off. And then that should solve our problem. So we'll zoom out again. Now hopefully this time it'll work. So I'm going to go back to my paint bucket tool, my color selection, and we want to get that pink back again. So if I have to cancel out of that, bring in my image, get my pipette, and click anywhere in there, and I'm gonna, like I said, I wanted a bit more pink. Just, yeah, that's good. We want it nice and bright. And then now I want it on layer 1, which is good. Use my paint bucket and hopefully, fingers crossed, there we go. So that time it's just filled in the t-shirt, which is what I wanted it to do. And I'm going to do the frill at the bottom of my t-shirt. Now, again, you'll see my arm has gone. So obviously something has bled through there. So I'm just going to go back using my history brush. And we're going to come down here and figure out what has bled through. That line is fine. Oh, is that must be it just there. So get the pen tool. Unfortunately, we have to go back again. Make the pen black. Actually, what I could do is switch. I'll show you how to do that. Because you've actually got a color palette here. So I'll get my pen tool and I'm just going to fill in this line down here, and hopefully that'll be enough. And I'm going to switch my palette, use my pipette to grab that color. Now what I've actually got now is a black and a pink, so I can switch between the two. Get my paint bucket and fill that in. Yeah, so all it was just a little bit of black was bleeding out there. Okay, now hopefully this is going to be straightforward for the rest of it. So now again I'm going to grab some color. This time I want to do the arm color. So I'm just going to use my pipette, and that's given me a nice arm color. Go back to my paint bucket, fill it in, and same thing again over here, and hopefully it doesn't bleed through, and again it's bled. So let's check those lines again. we'll get our pencil tool and I'm going to flick this arrow here and that'll get me my black. So I'm going to close that section. I'm just going to scroll down. Nicely. So nice warm yellow, and choose a nice soft yellow as my background. And Bob's your uncle. Then you can go File, as always, Save As. Avatar. Save it as a JPEG. And yep, I'm going to put it in
She likes
here.
everyone. And I never like to admit that I was wrong. And I've been so caught up in my job, didn't see what's going on, but now I know I'm better sleeping on my own. Cause if you like the way